Charlie Munger has doubled his position on Alibaba at the end of the 2021. What Charlie Munger said about the Chinese economy and Alibaba. Why you need to pay attention to Chinese economy and especially Alibaba. Smash subscribe button. Let's get it. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Manes Engineering. It's me Elnur, and today we discuss how Charlie Munger doubled his position on Alibaba at the end of 2021, and I want to divide this topic maybe into three parts and maybe into two parts. First part from the point of the view of Charlie Munger's portfolio, and second part technical analysis, and third part maybe fundamental analysis. But I think today we discuss the Charlie Munger's portfolio and why we must pay attention to China economy and especially to Alibaba, and if you know the investing philosophy of Charlie Munger, it's I know it's simple, but you accumulating cash flow and you spend most of your time waiting for golden opportunities. I think Alibaba it's opportunity from point of view technical analysis and fundamental very strong company, and Charlie Munger also think it's opportunity for us. So let's go.
This question's for Charlie. It comes from Stephen Tedder in Atlanta. He's been a Berkshire shareholder for 10 years and says, you and your friend Li Lu have been very optimistic with respect to investing opportunities in China. BYD has performed spectacularly for Berkshire since its initial purchase in 2008 and is currently valued at $5.8 billion. The Daily Journal recently bought a large position in Alibaba after founder Jack Ma had been reprimanded by the Chinese Communist Party, and Ma's other company, Ant, was not allowed to proceed with its IPO. What are your current thoughts on China and whether the communist leaders will allow businesses with strong leadership to flourish in decades to come?
Well, I think that the Chinese government will allow businesses to flourish. It was one of the most remarkable things that ever happened in the history of the world when a bunch of committed communists just looked at the prosperity of places like Singapore and said, the hell with this, we're not going to stay here in poverty, we're going to copy what works. And they changed communism. They just accepted Adam Smith and added it to their communism, and said, now we have communism with Chinese characteristics, which is China with a free market with a bunch of billionaires and so forth. And they made that shift. They deserve a lot of credit. Warren and I are not quite as good at that as changing our minds in many cases. And that was a remarkable change coming from such a place. And of course, it's worked like gangbusters. It had this enormous growth in the average income of the average Chinese. They've lifted 800 million people out of poverty fast. And there was never anything like it in the history of the world. So my hat is off to the Chinese. And I think they will continue to allow people to make money. They've learned it works. The Chinese, I love what the guy said in the first place. I don't care whether the cat is black and white as long as it catches mice. That's my kind of talk.
So it's Charlie Munger's Daily Journal portfolio. Portfolio value $258 million. And activities holdings Bank of America 39% of portfolio, Wells Fargo 29% of portfolio, Alibaba 27% of portfolio, US Bank Corp 3%, and Posco POSCO 9,745 shares. Yeah. So Alibaba 600,000 shares, and as we know, it doubled its position at the end of the 2021. So Alibaba 600,000 shares, and his position occupies 27% of portfolio, and the same amount as position Wells Fargo, 29. So for Munger's, his investments continues to fall when the stocks and companies fall. For the point of view Munger's, it represents a golden opportunity to buy for him, and I think he understands the whole economic and political system of China. That's why he bought and doubled his position. And sector analysis, financial 72%, technology 27%, and materials. But from the point of Warren Buffett and Charles Munger's, for the 2022, the best invest ideas is financial sector. Looks very attractive, and financial sector, and I forget a second. Financial and so open the history of portfolio from the 2013. We see both Wells Fargo, 14 Wells Fargo, Bank of America, US Bancorp, POSCO, and from 2013 to 2021, new stocks, he didn't buy the new stocks, and no stocks were sold, but he maybe reduced the size of shares. So I think why, to answer these questions, why he bought, why he doubled, Charles Munger, why he doubled his position on Alibaba at the end of the 2021. To answer these questions, I think first answer, it's China want to double their GDP by 2035. I think it's impossible. And maybe second answer, it's Charles Munger, he received confidential information, and that's why he believed the opportunities of China economy and opportunity of Jack Ma and Alibaba. So in the next video, I explain you from the point of technical analysis So, and fundamental also, I can analyze this company. It's fundamental $356.132 billion, large cap company, and fundamentally very strong company, Alibaba. So I think it's enough, and I will explain you the technical analysis.
Mr. Munger, as a student of Chinese history, my question concerns China. In 1860, GDP per capita in China was 600. In 1978, the year Deng Xiaoping took over, it was 300. Today, it hovers around 9,500. Never before in the history of mankind have we seen such a rapid eradication of poverty, pulling approximately 800 million people out of destitution. You are on record as a zealous fan of the Chinese work ethic and Confucian values system. As we can see from the deteriorating U.S. relationship with China, the Western world does not understand China. What can we do to increase knowledge, understanding, and appreciation of the Chinese civilization?
Well, it's natural for people to think their own civilization and their own nation is better than everybody else. But everybody can't be better than everybody else. You're right, China's economic record among the big nations is the best that ever existed in the history of the world. And that's very interesting. A lot of people assume that since England led the Industrial Revolution and had free speech early, that free speech is required to have a booming economy as prescribed by Adam Smith. But the Chinese have proved you don't need free speech to have a wonderful economy. They just copied Adam Smith and left out the free speech, and it worked fine for them. As a matter of fact, it's not clear to me that China would have done better if they'd copied every aspect of English civilization. I think they would have come out worse because their position was so dire and the poverty was so extreme. They needed very extreme methods, totalitarian methods, if you will, to get out of the fix they were in. So I think what China has done was probably right for China, and that we shouldn't be so pompous as to be telling the Chinese they ought to behave like us because we like ourselves and our system. It's entirely possible that our system is right for us and their system is right for them.
Gavin Smith from Berkshire, England, he asked, Mr. Munger is a champion of Chinese stocks. How concerned is he about Chinese government interference as seen recently with Ant Financial, Alibaba, and Mr. Jack Ma? What, for example, is to stop the Chinese government from simply deciding one day to nationalize BYD?
Well, I consider that very unlikely. And I think Jack Ma was very arrogant to be telling the Chinese government how dumb they were and how stupid their policies were and so forth. Considering their system, that is not what he should have been doing. And no, I don't think that. I think the Chinese have behaved very, very shrewdly in managing their economy, and they've gotten better results than we have in managing our economy. And I think that will probably continue. And sure, we all love the kind of civilization we have. I'm not saying I want to live in China. I prefer the United States. But I do admire what the Chinese have done. How can you not do it? Nobody else has ever taken a big country out of poverty so fast and so long. And what I see in China now just staggers staggers me. There are factories in China that are just absolutely full of robots and are working beautifully. They're no longer using peasant girls to beat the brains out of our little shoe companies in America. They are joining the modern world very rapidly, and they're getting very skillful at operating.
So, my dears, thank you for watching this video. Smash subscribe button and hit the button like, and I will wait you in the next video. Bye bye.